David May taking time to answer your questions. David May taking time. He's a busy guy.
All right. I was just going to sit down here again. This is where I do most of my thinking. I was actually about to play City of Heroes. Yeah, this is a paid advertisement for City of Heroes. If any of you is out there knows that game, I'm back playing on Homecoming servers. They didn't pay me to do this. I just obviously, I'm all alone. I actually have a level 50 farmer if anybody wants to power level. So, but yes, okay, you rang. All right. How can I help? This is another one of them questions.
All right.
I don't have the hell money yet. We'll get to it. I'll remember. I'll get this. Yeah, all right. What do you got?
All right. So David Arvidsson states, it's not even really a question. He says, Dave, divulge what else the early Deep Throat card could do.
That's just it. I've been looking through my, I haven't been, since I mentioned that, I went through my alpha cards again. So I still owe you alpha cards, right? Now hell money, because I can't remember. I know it does more. You guys got alpha cards, didn't you? Brian, didn't Brian?
We the only alpha cards that we got were the 1013 alpha cards.
Okay, so you've never seen alpha cards that have primary and secondary stats, or
no?
All right, which again we might be calling alpha beta cards, because the true alpha cards may never have made it to Northern California. I think in our previous episodes we talked about, again, La Jolla, moment of silence. Okay, that was good. Silence, yeah. Actually, if you're out there, someone go find Duncan McDonnell and Ron Kent and Andy Grumman. We couldn't find any of them. I looked. I was going to do one of those silly intros again,
We couldn't find Dave May for the longest time either.
Yeah.
So
we never did.
Boy,
you found
yeah, but look what happened after you found him.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
All right.
So all right.
Trevor
Work on
Haney,
that alpha card. Go ahead.
Trevor Haney wants to know, in 1996, the No One So Paranoid card was given out at the first convention, and it had a similar Gen Con tag in the numbering of the card, same as the Gen Con deck. Was it a shock to everyone at USPC Games when auction values were around 100 plus for the card, or was this by design? Remember, there was no other promo, and the Gen Con deck was printed, and Premier Set was still a thought weeks away. What was the perspective like for the dealers for that promo card?
Oh man, okay. So surprise, no, actually sounds strange. Tickled to death. Again, putting the collectability back in the collectible card game. It's interesting though, what might have been a shock to the rest of us was the graphical change. We've already talked about how there were delays in production, usually brought about by approval. And obviously the necessity within the adventure games industry is to have your products released basically in that summer window, so you can kind of the convention season. So what was probably more strange was obviously the visual change, right? Even potentially the excluding of Scully's Dream. But as far as the price, no, it's going to sound strange. That's the goal. That was the desire, was to have an actual viable collectible game. At the time when you look at Magic and where prices were at, other games such as Star Wars and Star Trek, where finally, you had like the Darth Vader, or the Jean-Luc Picard. I hope I said that right. But obviously those were already, $40 plus cards. This is, of course, super limited edition. And quite rapidly, we realized that the Gen Con decks were going to be worth some money too. So obviously secondary market, and these stories have been told a little bit later, as a Magic player who wished I still had all my Magic cards, I don't. I wanted to see the collectible component maintained. So we didn't want to, I guess, for lack of a better term, screw the market up. So once something became valuable, kind of even like with the Premiere, where we tried to fix it with, by coming out with the second edition rapidly, getting rid of the killer cards, we wanted to try to keep that collectability. So even though there were actually a lot of cards printed, surprisingly, a lot of cards, as we've discussed, didn't make it into distribution. So yeah, it had value subsequently in 97. We talk a lot about 96, but X-File card sales were jumping in 97. It was, yeah, you could put that No One So Paranoid back then, not necessarily today, but you were, I guess you could trade it for a Mox.
Wow, it's pretty good.
There's
Can't trade it now though. Can't.
No. He actually has it's a similar follow-up question to that, since we're kind of touching on that same subject. So we'll kind of continue. He says, at the time, Magic didn't really have any promo card presence in the market, or any other CCG for that matter. X-Files really leveraged the success of the No One So Paranoid into future promos. At this time, the CCG was well known for having rare and expensive promos. I'd love to hear you elaborate on whether it was by accident or design.
Oh no, 100% design. We'll get Ronnie back on here. Obviously, Bob, Marquise, who've already been here. These things were actually by design, right? And the goal was to create, again, a collectible. Gosh, I want this to come out the right way. Okay, obviously, we were printing money. I mean, think about it. When you are printing a collectible card game and you have any level of rarity, or potentially, in our case, we were putting out promo cards that actually were worth something. And so, no, it wasn't an accident. It was by design, so as to create synergy with the, kind of our trade partners, our, market partners, like Scry and Inquest. Because ultimately, we didn't really have the internet to leverage. I mean, you don't even find a whole lot on the Wayback Machine. You know what I'm saying? So the only way we were going to get in front of people is if we had space and again publication. And we had space. We found we were well received, not only from the cards themselves, and yes, we saw a lot of other promotional cards get polybagged with those magazines, all by design. If there was an edit in there, that's okay. If there wasn't, that's okay too. I have company coming over, so I think this is where I'm not going to get to play COH at the moment, but again, shout out to anybody who wants to play. Would put a comment. I read those. I actually read the comments.
There you go.
Wherever the comment goes, and maybe we'll get you some information. Play a little old school, City of Heroes. But we're here to talk about X-Files. So, but we already did. So yeah. So I'm gonna go back to the real world. So till next time. Yeah, I can do this time.
David May taking time to answer your questions. David May